COMET, TUSA! They haven't realized that I opened the aviaries. Where are you going? Where are you going? Misterton, what happened to you? How did you end up upside down? You gonna hang out with Bonnie Boo? Can you share your space with CRESSI? Share? Hey guys, so a lot of you have been asking about the flock and the dynamic of the flock and how it might have changed since losing Bandit. Just kind of if the other birds have noticed or if they're acting any differently. Gonna be honest, CRESSI my gray, she probably liked Bandit the least out of my entire flock. So this isn't the best tribute to him. So she is not phased at all. Bandit was not particularly bonded with any of my other birds, so he never, whenever he would, you know, share an aviary or an enclosure with anybody, or we'd be out free flying, you want to come over? Or whatever, he was never looking to be with a certain flock member and like preen with them or be buddy-buddy with them. So there was none of that sort of intense bonding by any means. I could house him with CRESSI and Bondi, and I never really found them super bonded. So these guys have not really been phased by Bandit not being around. The other reason for that though is because our life is so unpredictable. It's so different. Our schedule changes so much just being in the world of entertainment. Everything's kind of last minute, and so they're very used to change, and I house my birds between 3 different sets of aviaries. So I have my indoor setup, my outdoor setup at my house, and then my outdoor setup here in the garden. And so our birds are always moving and changing, and then we have a designated bird trailer where it's just bird trips, and then we have a prop trailer that also has a space for birds. And so depending on what kind of gig we're doing, we're taking those trailers and we're taking certain birds, and it's never really the same. So they are accustomed to change and things being different and seeing different birds, because I work with different birds and we go on flight trips, and they're just used to constant variety, and I would say consistent inconsistency. So I think that's one of the reasons that the dynamic has not changed among my birds. They don't notice it or act any different, I should say. I shouldn't say they don't notice, because they likely do, but they aren't acting any differently because of him being gone. So I thought that that might be an interesting thing to a lot of you, because I think maybe a lot of you aren't sure how the relationships are within my flock and what that dynamic looks like, and just understanding how they aren't necessarily phased. If anything, they're all getting a little bit more attention, which we always try to do before trips anyway, and we're about to take this big trip. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where luckily I would say the flock is not impacted negatively from not having Bandit around, and CRESSI still mimics him, which we absolutely love. And so yeah, I'm relieved about it, just because I wouldn't want any of our birds to be upset or missing a flock mate to the point of acting out or plucking or anything like that. That would be horrible. And I have heard stories of birds who are incredibly bonded to each other and they might lose a mate, and then that really affects the other bird strongly. Are you jealous because CRESSI's getting all the love? Sure, girl. I have 2 hands. I have 2 hands. And I originally thought I would have a bunch of flock members in this. I let COMET and TUSA out, but they didn't come over. But we got our girls. It's a girl video today. No boys allowed. It's just me and my girls. Bondi's head's upside down. Hey, girly. Hey, girly. I would love to know though, based off of your guys' experience, if you've lost a bird or an animal, especially if those birds were bonded, how you went about handling it and how your birds responded, so that we can all kind of help each other through times like this, because not all birds will respond so easily. Even COMET and TUSA, who are my Camelot Macaw brothers, they're probably the most bonded of my flock, and they're used to being separated all the time as well, because we use TUSA a lot more in our show than COMET. So oftentimes we take TUSA on tour and we leave COMET behind. So look at that. You are molting, girly. Got some new feathers coming in. No wonder you're so itchy. No wonder you're so itchy. I definitely feel like the birds are loving the little extra attention they get from one less flock member being around, which is a sad reality, but it has been nice to spend more time with them. Also, there have been, of course, questions about us adding more birds because we now have more space, which I absolutely hate hearing it put like that. I've always kind of felt cramped and like we don't have enough space for the birds we already have. So I'm definitely not looking at adding any more birds. I'm not looking at quote unquote replacing Bandit. That could never be done. We don't have any plans to expand the flock. Alright, we should go check on those boys, see if they're getting into trouble. Anyway, I know this video is super short, but I just wanted to keep it short and simple and answer your guys' question and show some cuties. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed getting a little glimpse into the answer of your latest question and most asked question, because a lot of you have wanted to know the answer to this. Wanna hang out with Bondi? What are they doing over there? Comet! You wanna go down? CRESSI. Oh my goodness, just cuddly, snuggly girls. Oh, prickly. Boo! You waving to everybody? Hey, CRESSI. You're too close to focus. Here we go. What a pretty girl. You're so still.